Let's hit the 6 lines of the Radiance today, which is one of my favorite spheres, why I got some fancy artwork. And it's all about unleashing the light that's in your DNA, letting your inner potential shine through, and it is dying to get through. And remember, the sphere of Radiance follows the pathway of breakthrough. And this is going to happen in this flood of light and energy. And pathway of breakthrough is hologenetic. The whole profile is hologenetic. So there are these key points in a profile, one of them being here, another being at the sphere of IQ, another being at the sphere of your culture, that are holding back just this vast amount of potential energy. And so your radiance dictates your health, it dictates your aura, your energy levels. It really feels amazing when you start to feel this manifest in your life. The lines show what you need both internally and externally. So what environment and conditions you need for that light to start to shine through. One thing I will say is, remember, we are crossing the veil here, or across the veil, and that means we've moved from the conscious with the life's work and evolution to the unconscious with the radiance and the purpose. So this is, you can't force this. This is something that happens when it is ready. So be gentle, be kind, take your time. Real quick before we get going, I have been doing this line sequence. We finished up the pearl, and when I went to the activation, I found a video that I've already done on both the life's work and the sphere of evolution. So at some point, I'll get in the Creator Studio and link that right now. For now, I created a playlist with all of the 6 lines videos, so you can find it there if you are interested. All right. First line is about solitude. So first lines need alone time. They need to go within to find this inner radiance, to find this breakthrough. And as I said, it cannot be forced. Both the desire for solitude can't be forced. It needs to well up from within, and the breakthrough certainly can't be forced. And the shadow in the sphere of radiance is something that likely is going to upset your inner peace. It's going to make you feel anxious and not calm. And this solitude is a state of mind. It's not necessarily, I need to go off into a mountain in the woods, although that might be the case. But what first lines need to learn is the art of finding solitude even in somewhere like an airport or in a room full of all of your friends. It's about an internal state of solitude. One thing I want to share is I created what I call my mind forest, and it is a place that I go when I meditate, and it kind of looks like the Pacific Northwest old growth, or I imagine, I've never been there. And that is where I go when there's a lot going on around me and I need solitude. So maybe something to consider is creating a place that you can get to as a first line. The more that first lines relax, the more alone and at the same time connected they're going to be. It's a beautiful paradox. This relaxation allows both to happen simultaneously. And all other lines start with this solitude as well. Remember, this is a connected story. You don't get one without the other. That's why I always say it's important to listen to all of these, even though you only have one in your profile. And you will need some physical solitude at some point, more than likely as a first line. And so that's just something to consider as you think about where you want to be living in your life and what you want to be doing in your life. Mine too is marriage. And it's important, again, we don't consider these things literally. It doesn't have to be literal. It could be that your actual person that you're married to is what gives you or allows your radiance to shine through, but it certainly doesn't have to be. Second lines are all about one-to-one relationships, and this needs to be a relationship with something living. So it could be a person, it could be an animal, it could be a place, a plant. When I say living, I don't necessarily mean heartbeat, but it needs to be something that is developing, moving, that you can engage with and interact with. A second line radiance requires biofeedback as opposed to emerging from solitude like the first line does. So that biofeedback, like I said, can come in lots of different forms. It could even be movement itself. that triggers that, but it needs to be an intense relationship. Remember, line 2 in our sphere of life's work is keynoted the dancer. So there is something to be said for movement for a second lines. What you need most of all is just an intense relationship with something, with a person, with a place, or with a thing. So the question to ask yourself is, what do you love doing and who do you love doing it with? Remember, line 2s are the line of flow, the line it's all about ease and moving through the world in a way that people are in awe of because you are able to handle things so smoothly. And so you need something to dance with to let that radiance come through. So think of that thing or person that lights you up. And when you give attention for prolonged period of time in an exclusive way with that thing, then your radiance comes online. Moving now to the third line of interaction. And interaction also requires biofeedback, but instead of this exclusivity that the second line has, so it needs to be with a person, place, or thing, or a series of people or places or things, it's more about interacting with lots of different things. It's the energy of the interaction that matters. So 3s thrive on the move. They love to travel usually, or even be in a diverse place like, like a city, a New York City or a Vegas or an LA is a place for a third line. Or it could be a diverse place in nature. So like, the Pacific Northwest is on my brain today, but like an old growth forest really has lots of diversity, lots of potential different interactions. And for third lines, it's not about the result. It doesn't matter what happens. It's about the exchange. It's about the interaction. It's moving and shaking for the joy of moving and shaking. And the exchange could be ideas. It could be experiences with somebody else. It could be an exchange in business. It really doesn't matter. It's just all about more and new things. And 3s are going to move through lots of different experiences, and you have to learn how to do that without getting attached. And that's the key to a third line radiance, is being able to move through things and let things go and trust that the next thing is going to come. However, third lines also have a tendency to move on before it's time to move on. And then you don't get the energy of the exchange. You cut it short. Breakthrough comes for a third line when you let go of a goal. So instead of I need to do this thing, your job is to focus on swimming through the river of your life. And because you taste life from many different viewpoints, you see things from lots of different angles because you've been in many different places, you turn into a very compassionate person. And that's a keynote of the third line here. Helping is going to be part of your journey. Line 4 is friendship. And so line 4 is rooted in the solitude of line 1. It's rooted in aloneness, but it's directed outwards towards helping other people. And that's the case with all of these. Lines 1 and 4, 2 and 5, and 3 and 6 have this resonance, and it always seems to be a trinity, not only with 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6, but also lines 1, 2, and 3 tend to be more individual, and lines 4, 5, and 6 tend to be more collective. And there's so much that we can contemplate and think about with these relationships. So fourth lines have this magnetic quality that are going to draw people in to you. And it could be people that you are meant to help, or it could be people that are meant to help you. Nonetheless, there's this magnetism that comes in, and at lower frequencies that sometimes gets you into trouble because you're pulling people in that are actually not allowing your radiance to shine through, but are doing the opposite. They're driving you deeper into a shadow pattern, into a shadow frequency. The purer your aspiration in life as a fourth line, the farther that magnetism is going to reach. So we need to remember always, we are here to be of service. We are here to imagine what it would be like to live in the cities all the time. And the closer we can get to those higher frequencies, the more you're going to be able to pull in people, places. And again, it's not just stuff that helps you, it's people that you get to help. And as a fourth line, I know that that will resonate with you. Your body thrives the most when you're around those that you love and those that love you. So the more you can put yourself in community, the better. The worst thing you can do is cut yourself off. And remember, I said solitude is a part of this, but that's a choice. It's I need some time to recharge. It's not a F this, I'm going over here. That will just do a ton of damage and take a long time to crawl out of as a fourth line. Fours have refined people skills. They are really good at sales, for example, which is the fourth line vocation. And again, not literal. Just because you have a fourth line vocation doesn't mean you're going to be a salesperson. But because of your love for teamwork, your love of people, you will find that you're able to open the hearts of others. You're able to foster relationships. You're able to help people along their journey. Moving on now to line 5, which is about impact. And as a 5, you are designed to impact society, period. And I know that can be scary. I only have one fifth line. It's in my SQ. So I'm trying to impact with my heart right now in what I'm talking about. Line 5s are by far the most mysterious line. They're the most awe-striking. People tend to put them up on a pedestal. Fame comes easy for a fifth line, certainly. People pay this special sort of attention to you. They sense that you have this special quality. They know at some deep level that you can help them in some way. And that's a big responsibility. And that's one of the shadows of the fifth line, is that you can use that to manipulate people. So we need to make sure you keep an eye out for that. But if you shy away from that power, which I know is another common reaction, you are leaving your radiance on the table. You are meant to lead. You're hiding your inner light by not taking that responsibility. And at some deep level, you know that it is there. You know that you have a responsibility and role to do that. Other people might end up with an unrealistic expectation of you because of this thing that they feel in you. And it's important to set very clear boundaries in what you are willing and are going to do and what you are not willing or able to do. And once you do that, you get to work. It is time to do the thing. It's practicality. It's offering solutions to the world. You are a born leader, and your job is to find a practical outlet for that. You have huge potential right now in things like YouTube and the internet at large and AI and just the connected place that we live. You have a big role. You have a giant platform that you can use to help shape our future. And as a sixth line in my life's work, I need you. I need your help as a fifth line to take my vision that I see of the future and to pull it into the now, into this practical solution that we can help. So we all need you, fifth lines. Line 6 is a line of nurture, and this is another one. So I'm a 2 here, but 6 resonates with me a lot. I have the most 6s in all of my profiles. So 6s are the dream keepers. They are the ones who see the future. They see the great dream and they feel it like to their core, deep down inside of them. And they've probably had it since they were very young. The role of a sixth line is to nurture that dream, to continually stoke that inner fire. And as a 6, it's really easy to give up, because you're just looking around at everyone like, why can't they see what I see? Why are we doing things this way? And that often leads to indifference, which is the sixth line core keynote. And indifference is what leads to genocide, right? Indifference is, more of a problem than people give it credit for. And your dream as a sixth line is going to transform over time. That's totally okay. It doesn't have to stay the same. What you need to remember is that it's changing as you change. It's changing as the world changes. It's changing as the resources available to you change. And you always have the resources that you need in the moment to march closer to this dream, to make it real. But one thing you need to remember is that it's going to take a while. This is a big dream. This is something that takes time. And sixes have this 3-phase life. And so it's something that's going to come a little bit later for you. And you might not have clarity around the dream yet. Some people know, and some people are just feel this thing inside of them and know that there's something there, but aren't sure what it is. And every experience of your life is designed to help you to see more, to get just a little bit closer to that dream. Some people are even going to see their dream shattered right in front of them. This happened to me. I really was positive that I knew what my life's work was. And I had a very successful business around that thing, and it blew up and it destroyed me for a little bit. And I'm just now crawling back out of that. And what I'm finding is what I wrote here is true. It will be reformed more clearly and more practically with better understanding than it was before that happened. You as a sixth line are on the edge of human evolution. And so your job is to take a long-term view. It's remember that you're here to serve, that all of us are here to serve. And in time, I promise you, it's going to become clear what you're meant to do and how you're meant to do it. So those are 6 lines of the Radiance. Again, if you want to see, so there's 4 spheres in the activation sequence. Life's work and evolution I did in one video like 6 months or so ago. And that's in a playlist that I have on the channel, also going to link it eventually. And then we just did Radiance, and then the next sphere is your purpose. So I'll do the 6 lines of purpose next, which are going to be interesting because purpose is physical keynotes. So I'm gonna have to get creative, but we'll get there. All right, guys, until next time.